Now, Adam ate. We're not going to go into all of the specifics. But you know what? Because here's what we like to, do the whole gender war piece. Well, she ate. Well, if Adam wouldn't have been out somewhere, maybe she would, all that kind of carrying on. I got you. But the Bible says, and they both knew that they were naked. So now, however you want to slice the cake, both of them knew that they had done wrong. Come on here. Your flesh will have you doing wrong. He don't care about your gender. The devil will have both of you doing wrong. Have you caught up in something, you be like, oh my goodness, how in the world did I do this to myself? That's what the devil will do to you. He operates like that. He doesn't want the saints to be triumphant. He doesn't want us to win. And so the enemy is always working on our flesh, trying to pull at our flesh, trying to tease our flesh, trying to bother our flesh with something. Something. Sometimes you come to church and the devils have you mad at someone and tell you you're right to be mad at them. And so instead of telling your flesh to do right, see, because if you tell your flesh to do right, then you got to tell your flesh, now if you have an ought against your brother, go to them alone, get that thing straight, and be at peace as much as life within you, live peaceably one with another, follow peace with all men, and holiness, blessed are the peacemakers. See, that's what you got to tell your flesh. But if you don't tell your flesh that, and you sitting up here angry, and you're sitting up here bitter, and the enemy is talking, see, and see how they looked at you, and if they don't look, see, they didn't even look at you. They can't even look at you. When they do look, what they looking at? That's the enemy talking, just talking to your flesh. He doesn't want you to be triumphant. He don't want you to win. He doesn't want you to win. You have to exercise in godliness and tell your flesh, I'm not going to let you practice ungodliness. You have to work out your soul's salvation. You have to deny ungodliness and worldly lust. Just have to tell yourself no and mean it. Come on, somebody. How many of you all know how to tell your children no and mean it? Not too many of you. But you got to learn how to tell yourself no and mean it and practice those things that bring control over your appetite. What is that? Fasting and prayer helps you to get yourself together. Why don't you look at your neighbor and say, get yourself together? A time when you got to get yourself together. Stop living according to the lust of men. You don't have to have everything you're looking at. You don't have to have everything because somebody told you had to have it. You don't have to have everything just because you want it, because you like it. So what? You can let it go. You're going to live without it. Woo, my God. Some stuff you'll be glad you let it go. Because if you don't, it might kill you. Abstain from fleshly lusts. Mortify the lust in your members. Tell your body to do right and not wrong, and then make it do right and not wrong. Stop seeking to please yourself. Stop trying to find some way to bless yourself and profit yourself. Some of you are so miserable now because you keep going after stuff and you ain't prayed about nothing. And when you get frustrated, you want to blame it on the church, blame it on the way you was raised, blame it on your daddy, blame it on your mama, blame it on your cousins, blame it on the job you have, blame it on your supervisor, blame it on your neighbor. When are you going to take the blame for letting your flesh run you? Take up the cross and follow Christ. Take up the cross and follow Christ. And so here's a question. Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother? And many of you in pitiful shape. Pitiful. Somebody just say with me, say pitiful shape. At least the disciples said 7 times. Some of you all, we can't even squeeze one out of you. Somebody, you got 1 time to cross me, baby. That's it. 1 time. That's it. I cut you off. I'll cut you off, baby. And if you mess with, I'll cut you, you know. All of that. Can't even get 7 out of you, just 1. Jesus wouldn't even help the disciple out. You know you in pitiful shape. He told him, no, not 7 times, not even 7 in a day, but 70 times 7. What? What? Can't be doing no stuff like that. But take up the cross and follow Christ. You see, we're being crucified with Christ. And see, if we're crucified with him, if we suffer with him, then we'll reign with him. You're being crucified like he was physically crucified and left this world. We're being crucified from the world. We're dying to worldly influence. We're dying to worldly lusts. We're dying to what the world says we ought to do. We're dying to the way the world says we ought to act. The world say don't let them get away with it. The love of Jesus say turn the other cheek. The world say get them back. The love of Jesus say vengeance is mine. I can't get no help in here. The world say you want to take it. The love of Jesus say pray about it. If the Lord want to bless you with it, he'll give it to you. Yeah. So here we are. We're dying from the world, and we're making our members obey the Lord. So you got to put off the old man. Colossians 3:9, which is corrupt. See, the old man is corrupt. The old man, he always was up to something. Y'all don't know. Some of y'all are so sneaky, you out-sneaked yourself. You know, I know out-sneak is not a word. But you outsmarted yourself. You're so up to something. So always trying to think. You're so smart till you went past your own understanding. The old man is corrupt. Put off the old man. Put off his deeds. Put off his ways. Put off his behaviors. Certain patterns, the only way to break them, you got to break the pattern. You got to stop doing stuff. That's how you're going to make it. Some of y'all can't stay saved because you do the exact same thing even after you leave church. You go right back to the thing that you came out of. And so you can't break it because it's a pattern. But if you keep going back to it, you can't get out of it. You got to break it. You got to say, self, we're not going there this time. You got to say, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, maybe I should have moaned for you. If I told you that when they call you at 12:45 at the night and want to know, can they come over? If I had my hand on my ear and I got me a little tune about it, would it make you tell them no? Probably not, I see. You got to break the pattern. If you want deliverance, if you want to stay free, you got to stop doing the things that bring you bondage. You got to prefer Christ to every earthly relation. Jesus said you got to hate mother and father. He wasn't talking about that hatred where I can't stand you. He said you got to say, no, this is not a mama thing, and this is not a daddy thing, and this is not a husband thing, this is not a wife thing, and this is not a children thing, and this is not a money thing. This is a me and Jesus relationship. And I love Jesus more than anything. I know we sing it, but do we really mean what we sing? I love you more than anything. When you love the Lord more than anything, then you're able to tell your body to do right. You become a stranger to the world, and this becomes your pilgrimage and not your thing where you feel, I got to make sure I'm comfortable.